My name is Patti Hunt, and I stand here today. Just a couple of months ago, I was actually named the head of my company for the US, Canada, and South America. So I am very excited about where my future is. But I want to take you back about 6 years ago when it wasn't looking so good. 6 years ago, my husband Dan became very ill. He had West Nile virus and meningitis. People who got West Nile virus the way that he got it did not survive. As a matter of fact, the doctor came in the one day and said, "We think he has West Nile virus. And by the way, there's a woman up in ICU that has it as well." Not information I needed to hear. A day later, he came back in and said, "Yeah, we're really confident it's West Nile virus, and he's got meningitis with it. And by the way, she didn't make it." Again, not the information that you want shared with you. So at this point, it being an incredibly scary time. My husband and I have 5 kids between us, and none of them were in the area at this time. So I was there alone dealing with this. And so after about a week of being in the hospital, he was released from the hospital and he was doing pretty well. We knew he was going to make it, but he needed a lot of therapy. He needed somebody there with him all the time. And progressively, he got better and better and better. The problem was he was out of work for almost a year. So now the problem went from this medical issue to this state of how are we paying the bills? You take an income out of a household for an entire year and things are not looking good. At this point, after about a year, he was able to get a job and bring some money in, but we were trying to survive. Now, I had been a teacher for 20 years. I thought as a kid, if you went to school, got a good education, you worked in a good field, you would be okay. You'd work, you're 25, 30 years, you'd be okay. And so I was wrong. I was a teacher for 20 years. I was at the point where I hated my job. I loved working with kids, but the system, the politics were just not a good situation. So I just kept working extra hours, trying to bring more money in. He started back to work, trying to bring extra money in, just so we could survive. And it got to a point where I literally, with everything that was going on in our family, the year after he got ill, my father went into the hospital. And the one thing in life that I wanted was to make sure at the end of his days, he was home with us. And because he broke his hip, he was put in a hospital, and there was nothing they could do, but we couldn't take him home. And so he died in the hospital 2 months before my daughter's wedding. At this point, my goal was to get through the wedding and then decide if I wanted to get out of bed anymore, because it was just, things were just so bad, one thing to the next. It was just not a good situation. So for whatever reason, however it happened, my husband and I were introduced to a movie called The Secret. And that movie, I want to say, literally saved our lives. We watched the movie. I didn't totally get it. I didn't understand it, but I had some hope of something. We were also introduced to a direct sales company. And while I wanted no parts of this company, my plan was to work until the day I died, be miserable. That was my plan. But to start my own business and to do something new was so outside of my comfort zone that I told my husband, no way, I'm not doing this. So my husband said, there's a convention in Atlantic City, go with me. No, I'm not going, this is your thing, you go. And he said, come on, we do everything together, you gotta go with me, just be there. So I said, okay, I'll go. I'm not paying attention. I don't want any parts of this. I was dead set against it. And I sat there in an audience of probably 2,000 people. And the guy up on the stage started talking about your why. Now, I wasn't listening, so I thought he meant the letter. So I looked at my husband like, did you just sign up for a cult or something? Because I don't know what this is. They're talking about this letter. Well, as soon as I started listening and I engaged, I realized that he was talking about a reason why. He was talking about your passion. He was talking about dreaming, something that I hadn't done in a very long time. So I started listening over this weekend, and I was engaged, and I was hopeful, and I was excited. For the first time in probably 2 years now, I was feeling some excitement. And so on that, my husband and I decided that, you know what, we need to check this out, and we did. And we got involved with this company, and it was tough. Again, it was outside my comfort zone. I knew nothing of what I was doing, but I learned, and it was, they kind of held our hand, and they taught us what to do and how to do it, and I kept down this road of the law of attraction. So positive thinking, what you put out is what you get back. And so in going down that road, I realized more and more that teaching wasn't where I was supposed to be, but maybe having my own business and controlling my destiny and helping other people to have, a business or a career that they were passionate about, maybe that's what I'm meant to be. And I started thinking about my purpose in life. And about a year ago, now we were on this track and we were doing well, and we were, improving in our business, and our business was starting to grow. I was talking about retiring from my job. And so we, at that point, decided that, we had to live our passion. And actually what happened was, about a year ago, I was driving and a car pulled right in front of me. I almost hit him. And it was like one of those, you curse and all that other stuff. But it was in that moment that I realized what my purpose in life was. And that was to help other people to live their passion, to have a job that they were happy to wake up every morning doing, and not to be able to sleep at night because they were so excited. And I have found a way to live my passion, and I help others to do the same. Thank you.